At the Disability Network, we believe in a world where all people have value and where connections matter. So for the Disability Network, it's really about partnering and connecting people to a world where they're valued. And that means connecting to the community, it means connecting to employment, connecting in the classroom, connecting in their families.
Some would say part of working at the Disability Network is just, why wouldn't you work there? Helping people, right? And that's what it's about. It's about people, whether they have disabilities or they don't have disabilities. And for me, as a person with a disability, more than one, both seen and unseen, I think it's important that I have a platform where I can show other persons with disabilities, like here I am in a professional role, helping people, making decisions in my community, advocating for people in my community. And so I just think that's really important. The age range of the people that we tend to work with at the Disability Network is any age, any disability. And that's important because disability can happen at any age. And I think your disability can change over time. So sometimes you might need support in the beginning or you might need support at the end or things like that. So we just try to meet people where they're at, right? And help them with the need that they have in the moment.
You think of disabilities the way people thought about it in the 90s, so it's typically people who were deaf or people who are blind or people who use wheelchairs. And I think nowadays, man, the definition of disability is so much broader. You've got learning disabilities, diabetes, ADHD. In a lot of ways, the community has really evolved and has become more accessible. But in a lot of ways, we've got so far to go with physical barriers in the community and then the stigma that continues today. But to be healthy from a mental perspective, like mental health, wellness, what does that look like? It seems like there still is that stigma that folks are not really able to take that first step. And so sometimes calling a peer, trusted person that's kind of walked down that path before is a nice, easy first step. So I think for a lot of folks, they find that that Disability Network, that first call that they make, is very welcoming, it's very safe, and they can come in and connect with people that have kind of been in their shoes or might be able to help them navigate or help them get unstuck.
So we do a lot of things in the community, but what's most important is peer support. And one of the ways that we do that is by having art classes, we'd have inclusive kayaking, we do computer classes, we have employment type related trainings for employers in Genesee County. One of the biggest barriers that we see at the Disability Network is access. Getting people to recognize what resources they already have and then just sometimes building on those too. And having that support at the Disability Network, knowing that there are peers and persons with disabilities that work there that have been through some of the things that they've been through or are working and living independently.
There's 70% of people with disabilities are not working. So what would make a huge difference is if employers in the community were more open and inclusive in their hiring, if they were more direct in saying, we want to hire people with disabilities, people seeing their potential. It's really about people living their life and finding what their purpose is, what their journey is. And so many times in life, whether you have a disability or not, people tend to get stuck. You know, there's studies that show about 75% of people are just terrified of talking to somebody with a disability. So if I could wave a magic wand and make things different in Genesee County, it really would be folks understanding disability and being more accepting, and that would almost make us go out of business. We wouldn't even need to exist anymore. We could just help anybody, anytime. The nice thing is that we are part of a bigger network. So there's a Disability Network Michigan, so there's 15 centers like ours in Michigan, and all across the US there's about 600 organizations like ours. So if you're struggling in Flint or if you've got a family member in Arizona, it's a great first place to call just to learn and navigate resources and connections for people with disabilities.